What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So this offseason, 6 new head coaches were named. So I decided in this video, we're going to run through each one, and I'm going to give a grade based on how I think they've done early on with their new team. I'm not doing Chris Knobloch. He's coached like, I think 2 or 3 games. He is undefeated, but that's kind of cheese to evaluate him based on like 2 to 3 games. 15 games probably isn't enough anyway, but let's dive into it. Up first, probably the highest profile guy because he coaches in New York, Peter Laviolette. I'm going to go with an A. Some people might be screaming at me to give him an A+. Let me explain. Rangers are obviously 11-2-1. They're playing absolutely fantastic. A lot of that is the special teams, which coaches do have a massive input on. They're third in the entire league in terms of power play with 33.3%. That's obviously going to go down a little bit, but I still think it's going to be a top 10 unit, probably top 5. Penalty kill, 6th in the entire league at 86.7%. That would have been 3rd in the entire league last year. Might come down a little bit, but he's really got them on the right page special teams wise. But the Rangers have been a pretty elite special teams team in recent years. What really has impressed me is the 5-on-5 defensive structure of the New York Rangers thus far. They've really utilized Peter Laviolette's 1-3-1 system to really limit opponents' chances. In previous years, even when they made the Eastern Conference Finals, we all talked about how they were bad 5-on-5 defensively. It was really just Igor Shesterkin bailing them out for the most part. Igor Shesterkin hasn't played in like 5 games. They're still winning games with Louis Domingue and Jonathan Quick in net. The one reason why it's maybe not an A+ for me is the 5-on-5 offense hasn't been fantastic. Right now, it's only 2.08 goals per 60 minutes in terms of 5-on-5 play. That's 5th worst in the entire league, only behind the Capitals, Islanders, Kraken, and Sharks. So they definitely need to improve their 5-on-5 offense. But overall, when looking at Laviolette, he's been very good. Lafreniere looks like he's unlocked. Capo Caco is a little bit concerning, but Lafreniere looks great. And also a guy like Eric Gustafsson that was kind of brought in after having such a great year under Laviolette in Washington. He's really repeated that for the most part, especially with Adam Fox out. So Laviolette's been very good. He deserves an A as of right now. Next up, we got Ryan Hushka. I think I'm pronouncing that right, of the Calgary Flames. I'm gonna go with the D+. It's not that good. The offense is still really lacking creativity, lacking any real danger in terms of that. They're just a very boring team to watch. They're 7th to last in the entire league at 2.75 goals per game. Guys like Huberdeau, although Huberdeau did just have a goal and an assist in the most recent game, I think he has like 9 points in 16 games or something like that. He hasn't really been able to unlock Huberdeau. And just overall on the whole, they've got fantastic goaltending from Markstrom, which the coach doesn't really impact that much. But the team as a whole has been pretty uninspired. They'll probably beat my Islanders on Saturday now that I say that. They're definitely playing better the last couple games, but he hasn't really impressed me as a coach. So D+, maybe even a C-, but it's definitely been an underwhelming start in terms of his tenure in Calgary. Next up, we got Spencer Carberry. I'm going to go with an A-. Record-wise, they're fantastic right now. They're far exceeding expectations. They're 8-4-2. The underlying numbers aren't fantastic. Again, I talked about it with the Rangers 5-on-5 play. They're only scoring 2.3 goals per game in terms of just overall play. That's 2nd to last in the entire league, only behind the San Jose Sharks. The underlying numbers are a lot better. It's 3.1 expected goals per 60 in all situations. But when looking at this team, we really didn't expect much from the Washington Capitals, and he's just finding a way to win. It seems like Ovechkin got off to a slow start. He's starting to cook. John Carlson seems to pick up where he left off. They're just grinding out wins. So I can't give him an A or A+ just because the underlying numbers tell me that they might not be like totally legit. It's similar underlying numbers to last year, but they're winning games. So I mean, you bring them in to win games at the end of the day. So I'm going to go with an A-. The 4th coach that we're going to look at is Andrew Brunette. Andrew Brunette, I'm going to go with a C just because the record has been so bad. The Predators are 5-10, I think, at the time of recording this. But the underlying numbers show that his system kind of has improved this team, and this team should be playing better. The problem is he doesn't have the talent that he had in New Jersey last year as the assistant coach, or obviously in Florida when they won the President's Trophy. Right now, they're 8th in the entire league in all situations, expected goals per 60 with 3.39, but they actually are only scoring 2.93 goals per game. So they just don't have the finishing talent. Like I stressed in the offseason, they're not that talented of a team. So Brunette is putting them in pretty good situations overall. They're a fun, high-flying team for the most part. They're just having major problems finishing because outside of Philip Forsberg, not a lot of goal scorers on that team. Gustav Nyquist isn't giving you 30 goals. Evangelista's more of a pass-first guy. Ryan O'Reilly's never been a high goal scorer. So like they severely lack finishing talent right now, and as a result, Brunette is trying to put some stuff together, but it's not really working. The defense core hasn't. It's been solid. It's been pretty okay. Roman Josi obviously having a very good bounce back year, but it is what it is. The problem with this team, honestly, UC Soros is kind of failing them. Like, which is crazy to say, because he has carried them to mediocrity the past 2 years. But right now he has a negative 7.3 goal saved above expected, which is crazy to say. He's only played like 12 games, so it hasn't been good. He has an 892 save percentage. So usually it's Saros' defensive core that's letting him down, and he has to bail him out, and he has in previous years. Saros definitely needs to play better. Lankinen's been pretty good. So when looking at it, I don't think the Predators are this bad of a team. I said they weren't going to make the playoffs. I had them at like 84 points. They're not this bad. They're not a 33% points percentage team. I think Brunette definitely has implemented his system, and they should start scoring more goals. UC Soros should start playing better. So I can't give him a horrible grade. I think they have been a kind of an unlucky team right now. So overall, I'm going to go with the C. I still think he is a good coach. I think if he gets more talent in Nashville, they can be a decent team. But next up, we got Pascal Vincent in Columbus. I'm going with a D+. A lot has gone wrong in Columbus thus far. They're 4-9-4 right now. They're allowing 3.53 goals per game, which is 6th worst in the entire league. And they're only scoring 2.71 goals per game, which is 6th worst in the entire league. And it's just been bad. Johnny Gaudreau, 6 points in 17 games. Vincent hasn't found the way to actively get Johnny Gaudreau into the game plan, get him really cooking. That's your franchise player right now until Adam Fantilli really pops off. So you need to get him going. He's making $9.8 million. Laine, he dealt with some injuries, but now he's back. 3 points in 8 games. You saw the clip the other night. He was smashing his goddamn stick against the bench. It was bad. He's pissed. Kent Johnson, one of your other franchise superstar event one-day forwards, 3 points in 8 games, got sent down. Vincent wasn't really liking what he's seeing. Just overall, there's a lot of dysfunction in Columbus right now, which is tough because obviously they were expected to have Mike Babcock as their head coach. Vincent is teaching them a new system when he was hired like 3 weeks before the season. It's definitely tough, but the Columbus Blue Jackets look like genuinely one of the most uninspired teams in the entire league right now, in my opinion. They really just have no flow, no excitement outside of like Adam Fantilli for the most part. So I've been pretty disappointed in what he's brought. So I'm going with a D+. And lastly, Greg Cronin. Greg Cronin gets an A+. We finish off with a good one. I think he gets an A+. 9-7 right now is far exceeding expectations for the Anaheim Ducks. This was a team that I had at like 72 points, I think, predicting before the season, which is still like a 14-point increase compared to how bad they were last year. But they appear to be way ahead of schedule. But the schedule honestly started in like 2019 when they got Zegras. But the main thing with Cronin, I know he doesn't have a record like Laviolette. First off, the expectations obviously were different, but with him, the development of some of their young guys is what he was brought in to do. He was an AHL coach before this with the Colorado Eagles. His name of the game, he was expected to come in and develop these guys because I don't think Anaheim's going to make the playoffs. I don't think that's like shocking. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. This is a development year. Everybody take that next step. And you look at it, Mason McTavish is 16 points in 16 games after a 43-point season. Leo Carlsson has stepped up in his rookie year, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points in 12 games. Cronin has trusted him playing top-line minutes for the most part. He's playing like 18 minutes a night. Pavel Mintyukov, I did not see this coming. I just overlooked him for the most part. I'm going to be dead honest. 10 points in 16 games. His advanced stats are absolutely out of this world, and he's killing it. He's at like the top of the Calder conversation with Bedard, Carlson, Cooley, all of them. So when looking at it, he seems to be developing these guys. These young guys are getting so much confidence. Another guy like Ryan Strome, for example, went from one of the worst contracts in the entire league, defensive black hole, to now having 14 points in 15 games and being pretty solid overall. So you just look at the internal growth from this Ducks team. Definitely the one criticism would be Trevor Zegras only has 2 points in 12 games. It's not good. Like it's obviously not good, but I think if there's one guy heading into the season that I am the most confident in going forward, it would be Trevor Zegras. He got back-to-back 60-point seasons as a rookie and a sophomore, 61, then 65. Like he didn't lose his game out of nowhere. Maybe he just adjusted to Cronin's system. Maybe he was kind of playing through an injury. I think Trevor Zegras can be fine. I'm not concerned about that. Those concerns are far passed away by the impressiveness of Mason McTavish taking that next step. Pavel Mintyukov debuting as a rookie and being great. Carlson being great. And even a guy like Jackson Lacombe has been very good. He's playing like around 20 minutes a night. He's been solid. So in looking at them overall, Greg Cronin seems to be the coach of the future for the Anaheim Ducks and is really developing those guys in They're just playing great. They're just playing great overall. So running through my grades again, Laviolette, A, Hushka, C-, Carberry, A-, Brunette, C, Pascal Vincent, D+, and Greg Cronin, A+. Whoops. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Who do you think I gave too high of a grade to, too low? I want to hear from you guys, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.